B minus plus, C, D, E, F, G, and H, so there are.
Welcome to the Audio Foundry. I'm Lanson. Today we're going to do more than just spell out the alphabet. This video is part of the build log series for the Acura MDX I've been working on. So we'll start off with some of this footage I have from the amp rack design located in the back cubby here of the Acura MDX behind the third row seat.
I built this simple panel. Now this is a temporary design. I'm always reminded that there's nothing more permanent than a functional temporary solution, so I'll probably cover this in black carpet just to get it to hide, even if it's temporary. So just enough space to clear. Goldhorn includes these stickers, and then they're a real pain in the ass to get off. So I don't like that. Who's going to leave a sticker on their beautiful DSP amp? All right, got it set up. Let's work. One thing I hate doing is soldering on a car. We'll do it here carefully. I've got a solder station out of camera view, but I'll add it in here. First up, this is the Goldhorn connector that goes here, like so. And the instructions here are good enough. You can also go to the manual, but what we have is A minus plus, B minus plus, C, D, E, F, G, and H, so there are 8 outputs if we're counting. 10-channel DSP, 8-channel amplifier. Our first 2, and they are paired. The only thing about this harness that's kind of been missed in my opinion is the reuse of color, so just watch out for that. But it goes like so. This will be left tweeter, right tweeter, right front, left front, right front. And then we will go left front woofer, right front woofer, and then we'll come down here and go to left rear woofer, right rear woofer, center tweeter, center woofer. And then the 9th, 10th channels will go to the amplifier. Now, power by this is, like 40, 50, 60 watts, something like that. Don't really care. It's gonna be more than the factory. But remember that most Goldhorns have plenty of RCA outputs. This one has all 10. So the 810 Pro is what this is. Version 1. There's now a version 2. 2, I think there's an SE model and then a Pro, and the Pro has more channels. But this is 10 channels, which is sufficient for this build.
Okay, what I'm working with here is a 9-conductor speed wire cable that I've got from Amazon, and it's made by MyGotti. If you've been following this series, you know that I've been plagued with video footage loss due to some corrupted files. Unfortunately, some of the video that I lost involved where this wire started in the car, and that's at the right front, underneath the glove box. There is a factory amplifier, and I used a factory amplifier bypass harness that I got from Mobile Max Audio, so I didn't have to cut any factory wiring. I just cut into that harness and wired it to the speed wire. This means I don't need to run extra wiring to all of the speakers in the doors. This wire connects to that. This is not all the wiring I ran. I also ran a 4-conductor wiring from the center channel for the mid and for the tweeter, and we'll cover that in a bit. And I also ran additional speaker wire to each tweeter, and then I connected that to a 4-conductor cable that you can see here on the bottom right. It was about this moment that I realized that the tweeters are actually on that other wire I just mentioned.
Right front is... Oh, the tweeters. Oh goodness, yes. I made this mistake earlier. The tweeters had to be run separately, and this is the tweeter wiring, and we'll just match up. Mistakes were almost made.
Mistakes are inevitable. Don't worry about it. Just resolve your problems that you create and move on. No big deal. Something about mistakes, something about moving on. Damn it. Turns out it's 100% fine. I'm just going to move that out of the way.
So the left front tweeter, right front tweeter. So I'm going to add a little bit of heat shrink here. Okay, left front tweeter.
Cold wind, but it feels right with you. I'm heavy breathing, feels like I'm lucid dreaming. I'm not usually the type to rush into the.
There we go, left front. Now we'll do the right front.
I can't be speeding. I'm taking it slow, but I just want.
There we are, tweeters wired up. Let's get these shrunk.
Just go with the flow. I'm taking it slow, but I just want.
These are for the center channel tweeter and woofer, or mid, so we will ignore those for now. With the tweeters out of the way, we'll switch our attention to left front mid or door woofer and right front door woofer. One difficulty is remembering which color does what. I think what I'm going to do is do a tap test with the battery. I suspect this is left front. I'm going to go get a AA battery. Right. What you do is take a particularly crappy battery, works well as long as it has charge. I believe that to be the left front. Yeah.
I'm taking it slow. Just go with the flow. I'm taking it slow, but I just want more. I'm taking it slow. Just go with the flow.
Right front. 99.99% sure it's the gray ones. All stripes are negative in my arrangement here. But if I were wrong, it wouldn't be terrible to just reverse polarity in the DSP. Also, sometimes you need to just change polarity for phase reasons, but it is good to try to get it right.
The silhouette's burning, embers rising high, like a chemical fire. The flame won't die.
Next up, left rear and right rear. They're going to be on this speed wire run. I do not remember which one is left and right in the color batch, so we're going to definitely use the battery trick. Don't try this with a tweeter unless the tweeter already has a passive crossover attached. You can smoke it. That's left rear. This will be right rear. Yeah. Green it is. Again, stripe will be negative.
Obsession of mine is feeling the furnace. I'm up all night
And of course, the right rear. These two guys are in here. We have 4 more wires to solder up, plus the remote and the amplifier circuits. That's the remote turn on from the head unit, and we can see that that is remote in, and that would be like so. So it's going to be red to red. So it'll be remote in there. It's a slightly shorter wire because these were twisted. And this was running straight through the middle. So a little bit of a bummer. That leaves us with just a couple to go. Tweeters, center tweeter, excuse me, center mid. And these will be from this wire, which is just barely long enough. Tweeter, woofer. We'll do tweeter first. That's still hot. All we lack now is the remote out that will go to the amplifier. It looks like it's going to be too short. Let's see. Maybe not. Let's move some stuff. Amplifier is going to be here-ish. DSP about here. This seems short. It's over here, so it's going to require a slightly longer run. So let me just extend that real quick.
When it looked like we're rolling, got you falling on my skin. Take your chance, this is it. Oh, no, no.
Next up, we will use the Goldhorn power and ground. Click this. So what they've done here is created a simple harness with a 20 amp fuse. And what I will do is run this to the distribution block. We are running this power wire, which I've sheathed just in some temporary sheathing. I ran out of the other. Normally you'd run it front to back with all the same, but this is like a really long run. We'll be putting a ferrule on this, so let me get the ferrule.
The constellations got me feeling dangerous, risky on some face the consequences. Life written till you lose it.
Remember, this stuff has typically a plastic. Looks like I got it this time, but yeah, just make sure that plastic, it's like a clear plastic. That would obviously be an insulator. Probably goes without saying, but when you're doing this kind of work, be sure that the battery side is disconnected. In this case, it's not yet connected. That's the last thing we'll do. Now this is an old block. I'll probably replace this. I definitely need to clean it first. Should be okay. I'm gonna see if I can find some smaller fuses. So I've added a 30 amp and a 40 amp fuse set to go 30 amp, 40 amp. I think this has a 40 amp, 30 amp. It'll be fine. That's within 10 amps, and we're just protecting the wire. Next thing we're gonna do is carpet that, just because it might end up becoming semi-permanent, and bare wood sucks. So what we're going to do next is mark where these things need a hole, because the mounting point, still need to clean this off, they're here. And that is a very awkward place. So what I prefer to do is use T-nuts. I used to call them hurricane nuts, up underneath at the perfect place. And in order to carpet over that, we're first going to need to drill the holes and then heat burn out the hole from the carpet. First thing we'll do for that is get our amp, which this is a very simple design. Something like that. And then this guy can be real close. This guy here we'll just use wood screws. Gotta be careful, this is only 1/2 inch thick. But this, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and put some holes in it. Maybe I can use them. There's our template. Let's drill. Spoke too soon. Before we drill, let's first determine the size of the screw to mount. So I have these T-nuts of 3, 4, 5, and 6 and 8 millimeter. We're going to shoot for, you know, something in this range, but we want to make sure not to scratch the. So yeah, so that's not going to fly. Oh, maybe it will. It's very, very close. That's probably good. That looks like a 5, maybe a 4. That's a 4 millimeter. This should be a 3 millimeter. Yeah, 3 millimeter. Now, 3 may work better, may not. Let's see. Yeah, that might be better because we have a little bit of wiggle room for imperfect drilling. And there's still plenty of grip. So M3 it is. I bet you the Rainbow will probably accept the same, but let's find out. So this is the 4. No chance. This is the 3, but that's what we'll do. We'll put M3 holes for all of this. And then this one, I bet you an M4 might be more appropriate. Possibly M5. This is an M4. Yeah, I like that. Put these back in storage. And let's do some drilling. Alright, swing the camera around here. So when you're doing these kinds of T-nuts, you've got to drill to the outer diameter here. I think it's 5/30 seconds. My hands are cold. I want to say that's correct. So we're going to start there, and we're going to use a center punch to locate. Got to remember that these are going to be a little bit bigger. And that would be the one for there. 7/30 seconds? 7/30 seconds most likely. Ooh. Uh-oh. Two things are maybe happening here. One is obviously this may be crappy MDF. Yikes. Second option is the bit may be very... Okay, I really don't know what's going on. I'm going to add a piece of wood underneath this just to save it. Stuff happens. Yeah. That's good. Alright. When it's cold, my dexterity goes to 0. So they thread in just fine. I'm thinking maybe I need to go a little bit longer as there's not enough thread. This one's always going to be the trouble one anyway, but that's okay. We can make that work. All right, let's get this covered with some black carpet. Simple. I gotta go make sure I have some adhesive. Gotta watch out for these things here, they'll take out a blade. Thinking the glue wasn't good enough here. Let's hit it again. The good stuff is not this. The good stuff is the spray away contact adhesive, but I'm out. That was definitely not the how to do that. It was just me doing it. That's what I was trying to avoid. Goo gone or it's easier if you just don't make this mistake. So next up, we're going to heat up the soldering iron and punch through these holes on this side. What we're going to do is locate the holes to be and then poke them. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing prepped for install. solve for Goldhorn power. So this adapter has the ground and power, connects here. Let me see if I have anything. This is some ugly yellow. You can still see underneath it. Option B, it's a little bit too big. It's made for 4 gauge, or maybe 8 gauge. Better. Now there's not much I can do about this other than cut it off and ignore it, but I'm going to leave it for now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shrink up to that and then go. I'm going to find a tiny ferrule for this. That'll do. Next up, we're going to run that up here, actually. So, well, let's do the ground first. But I will get a ferrule on it.
Sometimes it feels like I should know how to walk on water. Sometimes it feels like I should know how to move the mountains. But decisions keep on
Let's find a
and the river
decent wire for ground.
and the wind it keeps on blowing. And this beat it stays in motion. Like my lyrics keep on flowing. And this rhythm keeps on going. Yeah, ain't nobody else.
And let's get this loaded with open ends for ferrules as well.
Myself. We don't gotta tell. No, nobody else. Nobody else. About you and I. Yeah, you made me feel so free. Yeah, you made me feel like me. Yeah, you make me feel so free. Yeah, you made me feel like me. Make me feel so.
Main power and ground for each device. Main power.
Make me feel so. And I try to let go. Don't know how to do it without you.
Now this right here is the ground I've got, so I think what I'll do is tuck. So what I will do is straighten this out. This guy will stay this way. We can incorporate our optical cable since it's going to come along for the ride. Let's go something like that. All right, optical in. Main harness in. What I'm going to do is just wrap this in here for now. Alright. Last piece of the puzzle is a very, very small RCA cable from output 9 and 10 to the input of the rainbow. I could also use a mono and then a Y adapter. But let's see what I got. Alright, so we're going to just connect these here. This is comically long. I'll probably have to make my own cable. Maybe I'll make a video about that.
The easy way is just to buy some new ones that fit right.
Here we go. We are using the output, what's called I and J. And we'll go J's, right? Alright, these RCAs are horrible. These are also comically long, but these are at least should be okay. They're Hosa, which if you gotta buy a cheap brand, Hosa's pretty good choice.
I ended up fully upgrading these later, but for now the hoses do fine.
Alright, now, again, comically long. I figured out what to do with that. There we are. The system is officially wired, except for speaker output here to the subwoofer. Alright, this is how it looks all put together. It is a frigid day this morning, so we're just going to get this done. I've run a USB wire that comes in the kit. I need to clean this off still. Everything's ready here for powers and grounds. The optical cable is connected. That's only what we're going to use for input. I need to hook up some speaker wire to the subwoofer and then put the subwoofer in its temporary mounting location. So I'll do that now. Okay, tried a few things. This is the back of the Eaton subwoofer enclosure. And I tried a few things. I was trying banana connectors, but they're not compatible. That's not how they work. It's just a simple push pin. So I've created some crimped ferrules, and this is a 4-conductor, and we're going to terminate with that so we get a 1 ohm final load through the 2 voice coils that are connected to these. And I will be right back with this mounted. There we are. They're in there pretty good. That's nice. Crimped ferrules work out pretty well sometimes on these push pin style. All right, let's get this into position and then mount this wire up to our amplifier and then get out of this cold weather. Okay, there we go. Need to consider gains and crossover points. So let's see. All right, input select is low. Let's get some light on this. Yeah, all right. Gain level. I'm going to set this up, and then we're going to make sure the subsonic is defeated as far as possible, and then the low pass filter is turned full max. We'll let the crossover in the DSP do it, and then bass boost needs to be fully off. So off, gain. All right, that's fully down. The Goldhorn RCA output is about 5.6 volt max, so let's just set this to half. Subsonic will be fully off. Low pass filter maxed out to the positive, even though we'll cross it. And then bass boost fully off. There we go. Just double check to make sure positives and negatives are in the right place before we dare connect something that we can't. Good to go. Here's our subwoofer. We're going to put it into what I consider to be probably the best position, which will be firing off the trunk. Just about there. Well, we could lift the seats up as well, but yeah. There we go. Hey, just a minor update. Wife decided to go from the 8 to the 12. I had one spare. I'll probably build a replacement box since maybe like a smaller sealed might fit here better. But for now, this is going to go back in. I'm going to try to put it as close to the tailgate as possible to reduce cancellation. But yeah, cone area is king. Now I have done some more work on this amp rack since filming this, but let's just save that for another video. This one's getting a little bit long. So if you like what I do here and you want to reach me, just know that I'm available at the DIY Mobile Audio Forum. It's easy to find me. I'm Lanson. So if you want to consult with me or want to have me work on your system and help you build something special, that is something that I can do for you. I am trying to grow this channel and trying to get out there and work on these kinds of builds more often. It is something I prefer over my daily grind. I just want to say thank you for watching. Hit like if you like my content. Subscribe if you want to see more. Comments are absolutely welcome. I enjoy the conversations. So let's wrap up here. Thanks for joining me on the Audio Foundry. Take care. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hey.